the website or the app. So very, very exciting. Guys, I wanted to start with a very cool thought. So I'm going back through volume number 2 and taking notes on this thing. And one of the things that Adonis brings up, which to me, it's what makes all the sense in the world. That if you want to become king in this business or any business, right? Everything will boil down to your follow-up. I know you've heard Adonis say that 1,000 times, but I want to just spend like 30 seconds and tell you what follow-up means. Okay. I'm going to read my own list off to you. So let's say that this is you tracking your leads. Any kind of marketing that you're doing, in-person marketing, social media, digital, it doesn't matter. Any kind of marketing, it'll fall into this pattern. So it starts with, how did the lead come in and what happened to it and what was your lead follow-up, right? Then after we go through lead follow-up, was there a loan conversation? Not a conversion, was there a conversation? Then what was the loan conversation follow-up? Was there a needs assessment? Was there a needs assessment follow-up? With that follow-up, was there an application submission? Was there an application submission follow-up, right? Additional conversations after they filled that out. After that, document request. Then was there a document request follow-up? With that, the loan file has been submitted now. Is there follow-up that's taking place between you and the lender and the borrower? In addition, what about a turn down? What happens after a turn down? Do we just call them up and say, oh, sorry, man, that didn't work out? Or do we go back? Do we try to get additional information? Do we try to help them understand maybe some other ways that they can get this approved? Bring in a credit partner, bring in a financial partner, etc., right? After we have an underwriting approval, is there underwriting approval follow-up so that they understand what the rest of that process looks like? What about the closing? And then after, even after everybody gets paid, is there any kind of closing follow-up that you're doing? I understand that you're not all at this stage yet, but when Adonis says the money is in the follow-up, this is what he means. He doesn't mean I followed up with somebody after a conversation at an REI club or a mixer. He doesn't mean I just followed up with somebody on social media. That's just the start of your follow-up. Not to mention somebody who takes the lead like I just suggested, and you're in constant communication with the borrower. You're developing that relationship the whole time. You're primed and ready to go for deal number 2, deal number 5, deal number 10, deal number 20, and develop an ongoing long-term relationship. So anytime that thought enters their head, I need another this, I need more of that, and it has to do with a private money loan, it's you, and that's all there is. King in this game, it is in the follow-up. So I'm leading with that. That's going to be my good news. Guys, we hope that you had a great 4th of July holiday. We hope that everybody is doing well. Anybody want to share some good news with us before we jump into our actual scenarios?
So I can share. Oh, go ahead, Adonis.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Mine's really quick, and it goes with what you just said, the follow-up. I've been following up all day. How about that? That's good news.
That is good news. Very good. What do you got, Adonis?
I just completed my move to Houston. So I'm super excited about that.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, we're assuming that you found a nice little neighborhood to raise those 2 boys in.
Correct. Exactly
Okay,
right.
Good.
Okay.
Anybody else have any good news before we jump into our scenarios here? Okay. All right, Adonis, I'm going to hand it right over to you. Here we go.
All right. Well, I mean, that's a perfect pickup for this question. Are we done with good news? If we are done with good news, then let's jump right in and say, I want to first piggyback off of what you just said, Jeffrey. So, hey guys, let me. The one thing that is our motto at L&H Capital is is we squeeze the lemon until there's not a drop left. And essentially what that means is one of the reasons why our borrowers keep coming back to us, while these brokers will keep coming back to us, one of the reasons why we can tell a broker we can't do anything, um, and they will send us business a few days later is because most people. All right, so let me draw the scenario. Let me ask this question. I'd like everyone to chime in. Have you guys ever went to a restaurant where the food was average at best, borderline not even good, but the service was so spot on that you actually remember the service more than you do the food? Anyone had that experience?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So conversely, you guys ever been somewhere where the food was phenomenal, but the service was terrible? To the point where even though the food was great, you would not go back to that restaurant because of such a bad experience. Anyone have that situation? Anybody?
Thankfully, no.
Yes, I have.
Apparently.
Yes, I have.
So for those of us who have had that, and I'll tell you right now, this is a very true statement. More people than less remember their experience more than the actual product that they went for. Meaning that there are some restaurants where I talk more about the service than I do the food because the food was a D plus C minus at best, but the service was so great that it actually made the experience pretty decent, manageable. It actually made it a great experience, right? I've been to restaurants where the food is perfect, but the service was so terrible that it didn't matter how good the food was. There's no version of me coming back to this restaurant. People care more about the experience and how they feel than the actual end result itself. And when you give your darndest effort, when you grind it out, when you are calling late, calling early, working overtime, when you're doing all these things, people will often forgive D plus or C minus food, D plus or C minus results for a phenomenal experience, for great service. And as a broker, the way you're going to compete with the big guys, the way you're going to compete, excuse me, with the companies, excuse me, oh, my apologies. The way you're going to compete with the companies that have hundreds of millions of dollars is you just beat them on service. You just offer better service. And you will find that offering better service will take you further than most pretty much anything in this business. You can get customers who will pay more for better service, who will endure more for better service, who will literally give you all the runway in the world if their experience is exceptional. And if their end result is less than desirable, you will retain that customer. So I want to really emphasize Jeffrey's point about follow up. When you are taught what constitutes service in our space is communication and assertiveness in your efforts on the customer's behalf. When you communicate to the customer regularly, often, daily, bi-daily, for a customer who's in a time sensitive, highly financially volatile space, communication constitutes good service, right? When you're giving updates, those updates constitute good service. So whatever you're doing for your customers, if you're trying to get a deal done for them, and you're struggling, you get a no, you better squeeze your lemon until there's not a drop left before you tell your customer no. Because what the reason why they're paying you the 1 point, the 2 points, is so that you can do the heavy lifting that they don't have the bandwidth or the knowledge or just the capacity to do. That's how you get customers to come back and pay you over and over again, even when they know who the lender is, they will come back to you. Justin, Justin, you're on this call. Justin, there is a borrower that we have. Justin, I want you to tell everyone about the guy that, even though he knows a lot of us personally, the guy that works with that broker. Can you tell everyone about that?
Which one is this?
Guerrera, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
Mark.
about the relationship he has with how he has the brokers that he works with, even though he deals with us.
Oh, Morris. Is that the one you're
Okay.
talking about?
So Justin is blanking out. There's a guy who will pay a broker 2 points to come do
Oh,
business with us.
sorry. Sorry.
Yes, that. So there's a guy who pays a broker 2 points for that broker to bring us business, even though this guy knows multiple people in our office personally. And the reason why, Justin, I never got the answer on why he pays the broker. Did you ever get that insight?
I haven't had that conversation with him yet. I was planning on doing that when I see him on the 22nd.
Okay,
Because,
so
yeah,
my
it blows my mind.
So he told me one time the reason why he will pay a broker 2 points to bring deals to lenders that he knows who they are, the relationships, the whole nine, because the broker does the heavy lifting for him, whatever that means. So what that means for him is whatever his version of heavy lifting, these brokers do it for him, and he is willing to pay them a premium to take loans to the lenders he already knows, already has relationships and history with. But because that broker offers such exceptional service, he pays them to handle all the headaches. I say that to say, squeeze the lemon until the lemon's dry. You will get people who will not only seek you out, who will insist that you work for them. Let's open the floor for scenarios. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what we can get done.
Adonis, could you give me the name? Can you give me the name of that broker? I would love to talk to him to see what that above and beyond that he does to get the 2 points.
I
Because that's
just
what I
told you
would do.
what it was.
You said he does the heavy lifting for him, but what is the heavy lifting? That's what I would like to talk to
So
him about.
that's the question you have. Okay.
Yeah.
So the heavy lifting that guy does, right? So let me just think of, and Justin, feel free to chime into any one of these. So one example is one of the rental loans that he was doing, we had to order another appraisal because something about the way the pictures took or the way the house looked or something like that. So the broker contacted the tenant, said, "Hey, tenant, you got a bunch of rooms that are empty. This thing looks like it's vacant. We have to have it rented out." So him and the broker and the tenant coordinated the tenant going to get furniture and, providing all this extra stuff that shows that the tenant actually lived there. So the broker did that for him, and since so he wouldn't have to. There's another file where they had to chase down like rents from different bank statements. So the broker was calling the borrower, making them go through and call the wife and all this stuff. I mean, the broker did so much of the heavy lifting on the grunt work, calling the tenants to, "Hey, we need to do new pictures. We got to coordinate access and showings. We got to make sure that this is done. I need bank statements." Alike. So this broker literally did all of that lifting so that he didn't have to. And the way that he justified it was, the money that I spend on this broker doing these deals is the time that I'm doing my business that makes me so much more. So it actually costs me money not to have someone do this heavy lifting because it's taken away from my day to day that requires a substantial amount of my time.
Gotcha. I understand now.
So the broker's value came in. Listen, let me deal with all of the nonsense. You focus on your business. Let me focus on the minutia of closing your loans. And for that reason, he will not do a loan without the broker involved. He will literally have a loan on a silver platter, call the broker and be like, "Hey, I got another deal. Go ahead and drive this." It's like, "Hey, well, we just closed the deal. Same borrower, 2 houses down, right. So literally the only thing I have to do is send in a loan application. You go ahead and do it and get your points. When you make it to that level of service, it gets to the point where you're not calling your customers are calling you. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah. Because I got one customer that's calling L&H, and I'm just like, why are you calling L&H and not me?
So then let's have a real conversation. Why are they
Mhm.
calling LNH and not you?
Because they don't like what I'm saying. They don't
They don't
believe.
they don't trust you, they don't believe you, they don't like what you're saying, or you're giving them bad service, or a combination of multiple of those things. And so, Lawrence, do you remember what happens in this situation? How do you engage your customer?
4 to 7 times a week. So I
No,
stay
no, no. When you have a customer that's circumventing you, how do
right.
you engage a customer that is directly,
Oh,
blatantly circumventing you?
I went and talked to her, and I asked her.
Okay.
I went and talked to her and asked her because I found out by me asking questions because nobody told me this, and I went and asked her. I said, "Are you calling L&H, or when is the last time you talked to L&H?" And she hesitated because she I wanted to see if she was going to lie or not, but she said, "Yeah, I called to see if they needed anything else." So I said, "Okay," and um, asked her why didn't she call me because I told you everything that you needed. And she said, well, with my last loan, I was able to reach out and talk to the loan people that sent me emails. So I replied back in emails. And I said, is it okay if you put me on the emails that you reply with? She said, yeah, absolutely. I'll put you on all the emails. Thank you for letting me know. So I just wanted to be kept in the loop because
Okay.
some of the information I'm giving her, like I told her, she had to her experience might not qualify because even though she did what she believed was 3 different projects, it was one title address, and she
Right.
didn't like it at
So
all. She went crazy over that, and then
so
next
we're
thing I
on
know,
the same page. She didn't, if it's one address, she didn't do 3 different projects. She did
right,
3 units in one house. That's not 3 experience. That's 1 experience for a triplex. Right.
that's correct.
So what was her reason? So you said, hey, add me to the loop. What was her reason for contacting the lender directly?
Because she said that what did she say? Her reason was, oh, her last loan that she did, she had direct contact with the lender through
Got it.
emails and phone calls. So this
Got it.
one, she has a broker, and she's trying to learn the relationship.
Got it. So what she's saying is she doesn't value your relationship. She values the lender's relationship.
Yeah, based on her experience, and I'm trying to
Got it.
exchange that.
So Lawrence, is she out of pocket?
No, she's not out of pocket. When I
Okay.
call, she responds back.
No, no, let me rephrase. Is she out of pocket? Meaning like, did she is she crossing the line, or is she kind of, is she like operating like, hey, this is kind of messed up that she's circumventing you?
No, no, no. I called and asked why is she calling contacting the loan company and not me. And she said that um, because of her last experience, that's what she did. And that she's really nervous and trying to figure out her next steps because she feels as though she may not get approved for this loan. So
Lawrence,
she's,
she is literally saying everything but. To be honest with you, Lawrence,
Mhm.
I appreciate blah, 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 but I don't trust you enough to have you be the make or break. So I'd rather just talk to them directly. Let's just trim the fat. And
Mhm.
so, and Lawrence, if you ever heard me, kind of tell my story, my everything about what I do is based on all the things I did wrong.
Mhm.
And, you know, what I've learned was that any reason she's talking to anyone but you is because you did not land your customer, you did not gain her confidence, you did not put her in a position where she trusts you to get this deal done. So it's best to go around you. And the only person you have to blame about that is yourself. Now, as a
Right.
new to the space, I'm saying that very cautiously because you're still in the process of learning. But I say that to say your customers, this is always going to be your experience if they don't trust you, if they don't have the confidence, if you don't reassure them, or but more probably more important than any of those, if you don't level set expectations. Here's the
Mhm.
problem with what she's doing and why she needs to talk to you directly. What are you able to do with information that she tells you that you don't want the lender to hear?
What am I able to do with information she doesn't tell me?
No, what are you able to do with
Mhm.
information she tells you that you do not want the lender to hear?
There isn't any. I give the lender, which is L&H, all the information that she tells me.
Right. However, to her, you need to explain to her you are the buffer.
I did. Yeah.
R- So you are
Mhm.
the buffer because there are certain things that customers say to me, and I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, whatever you just said, I did not hear it. So I need you to repeat what you said, but not repeat what you said. You follow me? And what I mean by that is like if you're getting money from your brother and we're checking, like whatever you are doing, let me be the one that says, let's not say that because that's going to create more questions that create more questions that create doubt that lead to a loan being denied, right?
Yeah.
What you
I
need to
got a scenario.
explain,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so what you need to explain to her is that by talking to the lender directly, she is positioning herself to say something, do something that she does not know our requirements. You do, that may end up resulting in us saying no to her loan when all you had to do was hear it and be like, hey, let me rephrase this message, let me repurpose, let me buffer, let me, lean out this information, right? And it's not to say you're withholding information from the lender. There's just certain things that the lenders want to hear. And there are certain things the lenders are like, hey, man, don't tell me that. Don't tell
Mhm.
me that you have no money, that your parents is giving you all the money. They're just going to drop it in your bank account. Because now the only thing I can think about is I'm going to give you an $800,000 loan. It's it's not your money. Yeah, but my parents are going to bankroll everything. Okay, cool. Then put your parents on the loan. No, my parents don't want to be on the loan. Well, you see how that snowballs quickly.
Right. Right. I can give you a
So
scenario.
go for it.
Okay. So with this 3 unit that she did, and I went back and told her that the lender may consider that, and I underscored may consider that 1 unit after I talked to Jeffrey with the title. And I asked her, can you see how that could be 1 unit? And she said, no, absolutely not. It's 3 units. It's 3 units. And I said, okay, well then let's submit and see what can happen after that. No need to go and rant and rave at the lender, rant and rave at me. Let me hear it all.
Right.
And she gave it all to me. She gave it all to me. And she was really upset. And I said, that's good. I'm glad you get that. You got that off your chest. So now let's see what the lender does. And I asked her, I said, and she was so upset. I said, write down your case in an email and then just respond back with that case in the email because that's the strongest case that you got. And she was so happy that I told her to do that because it made her feel like she was in control because she didn't have any control. And when I called her the other day, she said, I don't think I'm gonna get this loan. So now I got to start planning on my next step and what I need to do next. And so then I told her that may be the case, but you still have an opportunity. Don't go blow up at the loan company, blow up at me, because you still have the opportunity to do a DSCR loan afterwards if you get a loan somewhere else. because her last loan company didn't do a DSCR loan. So she said,
So
okay.
let me ask you this question.
Yes.
What's the details of the deal where she only has one experience and not three? What's the details of that deal?
The details is she felt in her
Is it
heart.
is
Go
it a
ahead.
flip
No. It's a buy and hold. I mean, rehab and hold, cash
or
out.
rehab loan?
Yes.
So wait, is she rehabbing it now?
Yes. When she's
She needs
rehabbing now. She needs
Mhm.
the loan, the cash out to finish the project. And once she
Okay,
finished
so
the project, she wants to do a DSCR loan afterwards, which you had talked to her and said that, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. So she's really excited about that. That's the thing that's
so
keeping her here.
check this out. Do you know? So the experience may be keeping her leverage low or something like that, right? So you know how the lower experience that you have, the lower the leverage, right? Or it's usually something where you need a lot of experience to get best leverage, something like that. That any of that sound familiar?
No. Was that in the training? I don't remember that in the training.
It
I have to
is.
go back
There's
and
a
look.
whole module about experience.
I know about experience, but I didn't know about the leverage part.
Well, experience drives a lot of things. My whole point is, um, you having her blow up at you is the exact right thing to do. Because wouldn't you know it, that last week, underwriting sent out an update to our guidelines that there is no experience requirement for maximum leverage.
Mm,
Not only that, there is now the opportunity where a borrower can roll in 6 months of mortgages as opposed to 12 so that it doesn't bust the deal. There's a lot of guideline changes that make the loan easier to get and, and more available to lesser experienced borrowers. So imagine she blew up at the lender to find out 3 days later there was an update to the guidelines that would allow the lender to do her loan perfectly exactly as she wants it.
right. Yeah,
That's
that's what
why,
told her to blow up at me.
right. So that's why you need to explain to her that her picking and choosing when to talk to you as opposed to the lender is a recipe for disaster. Because, mind you, let's just say she gets on, blows up at the loan officer. What do you think the loan officer is going to do? I got 100 people that I got to do loans for, and then and one of those 100 is yelling at me and fussing and screaming and cursing at me because she doesn't have experience. So am I going to endure, or am I going to politely decline the loan and move on to the 99 people that I can help who talk to me like I'm actually an adult and a professional?
Right. I agree.
You follow
And
me?
yes. And the other thing
Same.
that go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. The other thing that she said to me was that her last loan company, after she submitted all the documents, which she said was a week ago, she got mad at me when I said she submitted her documents late and slow, and therefore that's the result you're going to get. But if you submitted it early and fast, then we may get a faster result. Because she's now saying I submitted the loans, submitted documents over a week ago, and we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard anything. That's her new deal now. So I called Jonah, and Jonah said that they're processing it. The holiday came in there. So I'm calling Jonah back after this meeting to find out what's the status. Because she's saying that we say that we're fast. When I first came on board, I say that we were fast after the documents. So she said the documents have been submitted, but I don't see fast. So I can't.
Right. So do you know how to handle that situation? You're,
Well,
you're,
I
you're
told
married, right? You're married, right?
yeah, yeah, and Elisa's in the room.
Okay. So,
Just so,
so
just
that,
so we
so
go.
all right. Imagine this: you and Elise are working a task,
Yes.
and Elise, man, like she's supposed to send an email to have someone, do a delivery, and she just completely forgets that email. The day got crazy. Day got away from her.
Yeah.
She
I know the scenario well. Let's switch that around. Say to me though, because I do it more than she does. How about that? Adonis, you there?
Yep. So the MC comes over and says, "Hey, hey, I'm waiting for the thing that Elise was supposed to send an email to get delivered. Elise forgot." Now, in that situation, would you be like, "Yeah, man, Elise, she stayed doing this, she just dropped the ball," or would you explain like, "Hey, well, the day got away from her. It's busy. It's it was just crazy." Which direction would you have gone? Just throw her under the bus, like, "Yeah, man, she forgot. She stayed doing this. I've been telling her at home. Yeah, she dropped the ball." Or would you?
I would do the latter. You went out on me, but I would do the latter. That she's busy. Lisa's shaking her head no, but that's what I would do. Lisa says I throw her in the bus all the time.
That my point is, you treat
You
your
still,
relationship with your lender like you do
yeah.
your relationship with your spouse, right? You don't
Oh, I
ever throw
cover.
you don't right. You don't throw them under the bus when they misfire. You
Right.
cover for them
Mhm.
because the day got away from her. So it's not to, you know, kick her while she's down to be like, yeah, she always does this. It's to be like, well, let me explain why we're here. So
Mhm.
it's situations where in the modules you'll hear that say covering the lender's void, right?
Mhm.
Because when the lender has a situation where it's like, hey man, the lender is misfiring, imagine she gets on the phone with the lender and the lender's like, yeah, Lawrence is new, he don't know what he's doing. You gotta just take everything he say with a grain of salt, as opposed to no, no, no. Lawrence is definitely, grinding it out. He's making sure imagine if she came back to you and said the lender threw you under the bus as opposed to filled your knowledge void. You'd be upset. All that to say, the relationship with your lender, defend your lender the way you want your lender to defend you, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
it's
I got
it's
you.
it's a two-way street. So if she's saying this isn't moving half as fast as I expected, first thing we need to do, first of all, is not to say you're letting the lender off the hook. Call them. Hey guys, here's the feedback that we're getting. I need to know what we can do. One, what's been happening so I can communicate. And then two, what our plan forward is to offset this narrative. So now what ends up happening is you're able to go back and be like, well, actually, it's the
Don, so I think he went out. Does anyone else have that problem?
now you take that position of providing clarity, right? Hey, the files in processing. Processing is going to be 3 days before they pick it up. So for her, it's been a week. For us, it's been 3 days plus a holiday plus 2 days on the weekend. So it's been 5, 6 days when it's actually only been 3 business days. So let's not confuse a physical week with a holiday as opposed to, you know what I mean? So you
Mhm.
take that position so that one, you create an environment where she's not always looking for the lender's shortfall. You're able to kind of fill well, let me explain how this works, knowledge gap for her about the process. The lender
Yes.
is fast, but fast is relative. For the lender, 3 days is lightning speed. For you, you expect the feedback this afternoon.
Mhm.
So make sure to dispel, relative situations because fast is relative. It's
Right.
subjective, right?
Right. Right. And that's why
In
I'm calling back
positions.
on this call.
Exactly. So that's again, it's not to say, hey lender, I'm letting you off the hook. Hey lender, we said A, we're getting B. How do I one give her context of why we're here, but then how do we avoid it in the future?
Mhm.
For her, it should always be, hey, this is the process. Fast for a lot of people is this, fast for their process is this. So when we're saying we're moving fast, we're not talking a day or two. 3 days is fast in our industry. Like for someone who's done a deal, it's for you to level set expectations on what fast is. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And I said it's relative because when you didn't put forth effort to put in your documents, you fell behind other loan processes that are going on behind. They have a ton of work that they're doing. So you're now in the queue and you're going through the queue in processing. And they haven't told you no. That's what I told her. I said they haven't told you no. Because they can quickly tell you no. But we're going through the process. Let's be patient and let's see where this goes, is what I told her.
And every bit of what you just said is exactly right.
Okay.
So
Whew. I was
but I
worried.
do want to make sure that you level set expectations with her, right, on a couple categories. One, If you reach out to the lender, you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, you put your deal at risk of being denied. I know their process, their requirements, you don't. Let me buffer all the information so that their impression of you is always of the the most positive outlook, right? If she gets on the phone, because it's gonna have it would happen just like this. She gets on the phone like, yeah, guys, it's been a week. We haven't heard anything. This process is slow, and it's like, ma'am, we waited 4 days for your documents. The moment your documents come in, everyone's supposed to drop what they're doing, hustle, hustle, hustle. It doesn't work that way. So what ends up happening is, and a lot of people confuse the fact that you're talking to a lender. No, you're talking to a human being who very often is given really solid effort, who is working on behalf of the lender. And a lot of people forget that there's a person whose day will get rattled when they're grinding it out and someone gets on the phone saying, dude, whatever you're doing is not enough. Meanwhile, I'm on the phone 12 hours a day fighting on behalf of a customer who doesn't qualify. She doesn't know she doesn't qualify, but I'm fighting the battle she's never hearing about because I don't want her to go on the emotional roller coaster that no one wants to do her deal. But I'm fighting to get someone to say yes for her to turn around and be like, yo, this process sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you need to level set with her that, listen, the more you talk to them, the more opportunities there are for things to go left. Level set expectations, and this is how you get ahead of your borrower. This is how you tell your borrower, don't call the lender. It doesn't matter what your process used to be. This is how the process is now. You train your borrowers on how to be a borrower. Because if you don't, the moment you say or do something she doesn't like, you get circumvented.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I know.
Hold on, Lisa said something. What'd you say, Lisa?
I'm sorry.
She's coming over. 1 second.
Sorry, it's a work day also, so I'm on break, so I got to hear some of the great information. I was saying you level set the expectation up front, so you don't wait for them to do it and decide how they're going to do it. It's like,
not at
hey,
all.
so this is the next step. I want to let you know it's my job to keep on following up, and I will make sure that I keep you in the apprised of how things are going. But if you need anything, make sure you contact me directly.
So right from the gate, I level set expectations day one.
Yeah.
Hey, nice, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get your file pushed through real quick. Before we do, let me explain the process. And right there, before any emails go out, before anything happens, what I do is I explain what to expect. I explain what fast means. Fast doesn't mean we submit today, we submit at 10 a.m., we get feedback at 2 p.m. Fast means we submit today, we'll get feedback in 48 hours, right? I level set all of that day one. And then I make it clear to them. So listen, whenever something happens, something comes out, do not respond to emails. Talk to me first. You before you don't want to be reactive, you want to be proactive.
So let me ask, so the language that you use, let me just ask you just real quick. Because sometimes when I'm talking with people here at my job, I'm saying I tell them what I want them to do. So the language would be, make sure you call me if you have any questions, or make sure you contact me if there's any concerns, as opposed to saying, don't call them because I want you to call me. Does the language make any difference to you, Adonis?
It does.
Okay.
Right? It does. It actually makes all the difference. And by that meaning that I don't tell it to be like I need to control the process. I'm telling this to protect you.
Right.
Hey, get out the road. Hey, get out the road because a car may hit you.
Yeah.
Same message, but different intent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I am very assertive that I'm doing this to protect you, not because I'm trying to do anything other than protect your best interest.
Yeah.
And the way you can say the exact same thing but change the way it's perceived is by adding the context of why it's important they talk to you directly as opposed to the lender directly.
That's good. Yeah, Lawrence is a contact person, so he'll be good at that part.
Right. And that's what, and that's the thing. Hey, if the lender emails you, do not email them back. Talk to me first. Okay? Do not email them back. Talk to me first, because anything you say wrong can make the deal go left.
Yeah.
Exact same thing, much different. That one additional line changes the entire context of the statement.
Right.
So when I call her back after this call, should I say that the lending guidelines are changed and it may favor you? Should I say that to her? I don't know why this camera keeps moving.
I don't want, it's okay. I don't want.
Should I say that?
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to overcommit. Talk to the back office first. Let
Okay.
them know that you just got, Justin's on this call. Hey, Justin, heard that there's some changes in the experience requirements. How does that affect this deal? Go back to her with the good news, and then that's the perfect time to be like, oh, and by the way, just do me a favor. Moving forward, let's run communication through me. I just want to make sure, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Cool?
Because she talked to a low-level person. I don't know who that person was. And she got a little frustrated at them. And I said,
So
that's because
I would be mindful of the descriptions you use when regarding. So, hey, Lawrence, I just talked to some lady of yours that lives with you that says she knows you and is married to you or something, as opposed to, hey, Lawrence, I'll talk to your wife.
yeah.
Like, don't use low level, because it can be received in a very wrong way.
Should I say junior level or entry or new? She talked to a new person in the process. How about that? It doesn't matter. Okay.
There we go.
Scratch
There
that.
we go.
Scratch that.
There we go.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah. So she talked to someone in the intake, or if she wants to talk to someone more senior, there's a way to go about it. And there's people whose function is to be very specific in their role. So some of the team members, their job is not to know the intricacies of the guidelines. Their job is to move, customer satisfaction, right?
That's
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And that's what I'll tell her. So that's it from that standpoint. I got it. I understand it. Next time I'll level set in the beginning, which is this other deal. I after talking to Jeffrey this weekend, should I move on or should I stop or wait to Thursday? Because it's 3:17. I didn't know if you had something else. I was going to move on to something else.
No. That's more than fine.
Okay, all right. So talked to Jeffrey this weekend. I mean, not this weekend, on Monday, and we went back and forth. It was a little bit heated conversation. So I apologize to Jeffrey if it was heated, but I got his understanding. What I'm going to do, instead of talking about this large deal as a large deal, I'm just going to be more specific and talk about the 3 opportunities that they talked about, and did each going forward, I will only talk about opportunities that I have the deal information for. I'm not going to talk in generalities and the big deal and that this is their plan and they plan to do all of this and all that, because it's not at the loan level. And so these guys, they wanted to meet, like you said, Adonis, they wanted to meet with the presidents of the organizations that we're dealing with. So that would be you. And I don't know if you want to meet with them. Jeffrey sent me a email link with, I cannot remember his name. I got to get better at names, but your assistant.
Michael.
Who I talked to before. Michael, thank you. He said to me, Michael, to meet with you, but I wanted to use this call to make sure that you wanted to have that meeting before I talked to Michael with these guys. I called them today. That's my follow-up. Fortunate in the follow-up because I didn't get the PowerPoint that I was waiting for, and I didn't get the so I gave them a message, text them, called them, and I'm waiting for them to reply back so they can give me the PowerPoint and then find out. Always want to find out if they're still on the hook, So that's where we stand with them.
So
That fits
one,
the message.
so one, I do want to highlight,
Mhm.
conflict. Conflict is part of this business, and there is a such thing as healthy conflict. So
Mhm.
I don't ever want, for as much as we communicate, don't think that there won't ever be times where you're butting heads with the people that are supporting you, people that you're working with, you, me, whoever, like, this is a business that everyone's passionate about, and those passions do kind of overlap. So I do want to just highlight the fact that healthy conflict is always welcome as long as it's handled, with respect and the way you guys communicate to each other. But I wholeheartedly expect for someone that you're dealing with regularly and they dealing with you guys are going to get frustrated with each other. That means that you both care, and so Jeffrey and Lawrence, I'm actually happy to hear that, because Lawrence, I want you to know, if Jeffrey got frustrated because he cares about your success, and Jeffrey, if Lawrence got frustrated, as you know, is because he's cares about, getting this thing done. So I want to congratulate you both on some healthy conflict.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Lawrence, whatever allows you to get this thing moving, I'm willing to participate in. And I'll tell you, there are some things that are happening that is outside of how I would do it, but I want you to see, I want you to hear these calls so you can hear how fruitful or how wasteful they are. And the call itself will dictate, whether this was a complete waste of time or this was exactly what was needed to move the needle. So I want you to know that there are ways that I would go about kind of buffering, getting on the phone with the quote unquote president. Because to me, every time I hear that, I usually pass on the deal. Like, I never want to talk to the person who wants to talk to the boss, right? Because for me, it's like, call Bank of America, be like, I'll open an account with Bank of America only if I can talk to the president. It's like, all right, we're done here. So, and also what that does is that undermines all the people that are going to be involved in the process. The president does not make the decision on the loan. The underwriter does, right? The president
Mhm.
doesn't sign off on a $20 million deal. The committee does, secondary market does. So it's a it's a false sense of entitlement when people say they want to talk to the president. And every time that person gets on the call, I'll say 9.5 out of 10 times the deal never goes anywhere, especially when there's people who are trying to work and level set expectations. And these people can't be told what to do because I'll just call the president, and they undermine the process and the people involved. But
Mhm.
I'm sidelining that to say, whenever someone says I want to talk to the president, I'm like, why? The president of the company is nothing more than the yes man to the underwriter to the secondary market. The president of the company is not going to buy a $20 million package bundle. Capital markets is. Capital markets is who we need to be, trying to appease. The underwriter is who we need to be trying to appease. The president cannot come in and undermine either one of those. And that is by design to keep balance at any lending company. That makes sense?
Yeah. I got it written down.
Cool.
Ask why.
So we'll do the dance, but I do want to have you start having that conversation with, like, talking to the president is nothing more to me than an ego boost. And it usually doesn't serve any purpose because the president is not going to be the loan officer. They're not processing, they're not underwriting, and they're not selling the capital markets. So the president has nothing to do with the process, usually whatsoever.
Got it. Got it.
But
Okay.
we're going to do it though. Make sense? We're going to do
Yes.
it.
Yes. And I want to learn the process. I think that's the process Jeffrey was taking me through. Um, your process.
Right.
So,
But that's the thing. That's not just my process. You call the president of any lending company, they're going to be like, dude, we have this conversation. You'll never talk to me again. I'm not underwriting. I'm not processing. I'm not buying the note. So talking to me is literally a waste of time, because the
mhm.
only thing I'm going to do is communicate exactly what we spoke about to the loan officer, to the processor, to the underwriter. So you talking to me is literally just to say that you spoke to someone in charge, when really the president isn't in charge, if that makes sense. And I say the word in charge, and I'm obviously using that relatively, but the presidents don't sign off on the underwriting loans. Loan committee does. The capital markets, the note buyers do.
Mhm. I understand.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I will get this set up. I'll follow back up later on today or first thing in the morning. Huh?
Let us know. Let us know.
Excuse me, what'd you say, Lisa?
So we talked to him at 4:30.
We talked, she responded back?
He was coming back.
Oh,
4:30.
okay. 4:30 today.
So then what?
I'm gonna find out what's his availability, then I'm gonna call Adonis' assistants to find out what's Adonis'
Okay.
availability. I'm gonna schedule the meeting.
Coordinate with Justin as well. So
Okay.
Adonis is get on the phone, and Adonis is going to call Justin and tell Justin everything that was said, and then you'll never hear from Adonis in this transaction again. So that's
Okay.
what I said. Like I'm telling you, literally, getting on the phone with me is not a waste of time, but it's all but a waste of time.
I understand.
We're gonna do it, but literally, you won't see Adonis' name in the loan process. So I'm literally just going to copy and paste everything said to me to the loan team.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. All
Cool.
right. I know we're a good ways over time. Does anyone have anything else before we hop off? Lawrence, I gotta tell you, I really appreciate how involved you are and how far and everything you're coming along with this stuff. So, you are literally at your tipping point. Once we just get a couple things dialed in, this thing is going to take off in a very big way for you.
I'm praying that happens. And I want to thank Jeffrey and Justin and everyone else that I talked to inside of L&H. They helped me a lot. Jonah especially.
Got it.
I really
All right,
appreciate it.
all right, everyone. Well, I'll wait to hear back from you when we're going to have this conversation. But like I said, make sure with Michael, Justin is looped into this as well.
Okay.
All
Will
right,
do.
guys. Thank you all.
Thank you.